Well, now through 5 games, home ice has been the difference in the Stanley Cup Final. And after a 6-0 shutout in the Steel City, the Pens hit the road with a repeat on their minds. Every game is distinct, sure, but if you believe in momentum, the champs have it headed to the Music City as Shawn McKenzie tides us over from Nashville ahead of Sunday's Game 6.
The Nashville Predators are a near-perfect 9-1 on home ice, a stat that should give them a boost Sunday night, but a stat that won't mean a thing unless they turn in a better performance than they did in Game 5.
It's June, we're playing hockey, so everything's great so far. We don't like that for last night, but what we know is that one game doesn't have anything to do with the other, so we're turning the page. It was one game out of the 7 that this series is going to demand.
Every game is its own chapter, it's its own slice of the pie, and you got to go out and fight for that slice every day. And be ready to write that chapter. And the last chapter doesn't have anything to do with it.
The last chapter may not mean a thing for the Preds, but it's one the Penguins had to love. Game 5 not only saw Sidney Crosby turn in another dominant performance, but also saw Evgeny Malkin and Phil Kessel come alive. If the Predators want to keep the cup in its case Sunday night, they will have to find a way to silence the Penguin Stars.
It just seems to be like that every second game. They're talking about how good we play defense, and then the other game they talk about how good they are as offense, and that's just going to be like it's world-class players. We can't just shut them down game after game. It's going to be times where you got to say they did a good play or they did something good, but on Sunday we're going to have great defense again.
The Predators' defense will have to be great again because home ice is not something they can rely on. This Penguins core knows how to close out a cup final no matter where it is. The last 2 Stanley Cups the Penguins have won have been in their opponent's building.
They play hard for one another, and they have an appetite to win. And I think, they've provided plenty of evidence to suggest that with the deep runs that they've had in the last couple of seasons.
The Penguins may know how to close out a cup final in enemy territory, but they've likely never seen an atmosphere like the one we will see here Sunday. Not only because of the game and what's at stake, but we're also right in the middle of CMA Music Fest, which means there's an extra 100,000 people here in the city of Nashville. But the simple fact is it won't matter how loud Bridgestone Arena gets, what decibel level gets hit, or what country superstar sings the national anthem. If the Predators don't play better than they did in Game 5, these fans could see Sidney Crosby hoist his 3rd Stanley Cup. Shawn, McKenzie, Sportsnet, Nashville.
And here's the thing, Shawn. The Penguins, they have a knack for partying in other teams' buildings. In fact, all 4 of the franchise's Stanley Cup clinching victories have come on the road.